يعني في فرق بتاع قريب ال 45,000 ولا 40,000، لكن التجار ما نزلوا أي حاجة في السوق، إنما بالعكس قاعدين بيزيدوا وبيزيدوا. لما تتكلم إنه دولار نازل معلوم مشكلة وين، يقول لك المشكلة بقى ما دولار، المشكلة ضرائب. ضرائب بقى خطيرة علينا، يعني بيشيلوا مننا ضرائب بنسبة بتاع 300% أو 100% أو 150% ذاته. وانا بتذكر يوم حكوماتنا كان قال انه في حاجات بيجيبوا مواد تموينيه من برا لناس باسعار مخفضه وكده قبل كم سنه 4 شهور 3 شهور لورا. حاجات دي ما وصل، ما شفناه. ده زمن اساسي حكومه يقدر يعمل حاجه للمواطنين بتاعه عشان ما بلد في وضع اقتصاديه حرجه. يجيبوا ايادي تموينيه ده زي زيت وسكر ودقيق وما شابه ذلك عشان الناس الفقراء يقدروا يشتروا ويقدروا يعملوا فوق محتاجات بتاعت الكريسماس وبتاعت السنة.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good afternoon. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. The newly appointed Minister of Information, Communication, Technology and Postal Services, Atenywek Ateny, has outlined his priorities during his official reception held on Saturday, placing strong emphasis on youth innovation and media freedom. The newly appointed Commissioner of Tonjis County in Warab State has threatened to launch a forceful civilian disarmament and pursue suspects behind recent killings in a bid to restore stability to the conflict-torn county. And the Minister of Information for Upper Nile State says the Commissioner of Makal County, Michael Othobol, has died in Juba after a prolonged illness. This is stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Lasuba Memo, and now the news in detail. The newly appointed Minister of Information, Communication, Technology and Postal Services, Atenywek Ateny, has outlined his priorities during his official reception held on Saturday, placing a strong emphasis on youth innovation and media freedom. Addressing government officials, development partners and members of the press, Minister Ateny said empowering young people remains central to the nation's technological future. He pledged to promote programs that build digital skills, support technology incubation and strengthen creative industries. According to the minister, South Sudan's youth possess national assets in creativity and innovation and must be given the space to explore, invent and contribute to national development.
Your creativity and innovation are national assets. We will champion programs that support digital skills, technology, incubation, and creative industries. Through collaboration with universities, development partners, and private sector players, we shall cultivate an environment that allows the youth to invent, explore, and contribute to national development. The future of ICT belongs to them. We must give them a space to lead.
The minister also reaffirmed the government's commitment to freedom of expression and the protection of journalists. He said that a thriving democracy depends on a well-informed public and a safe working environment for the media. However, Ateny stressed that journalistic rights must go hand in hand with respect for the law. He said he will personally intervene whenever a journalist is arrested to ensure the reason is clear whether the arrest relates to legitimate work or to a violation of the law. Journalists acting within their mandate, he said, deserve full protection, but those who break the law will face due process.
Our democracy thrives when freedom of expression is upheld and when journalists are protected as partners in nation building. My ministry will continue to safeguard the rights of the media, promote responsible journalism, and work with the stakeholders to ensure a fair and enabling environment for all practitioners. A nation informed is a nation empowered. And not to contradict Honorable Michael Makwe, the journalists that deserve our protection are the journalists that operate according to what is prescribed in the law. a law violator who is a citizen of this country can be brought to book.
The minister expressed his commitment to strengthening communication systems and ensuring a fair and enabling media landscape across the country. The newly appointed commissioner of Tonj East County in Warrap State has threatened to launch a forceful civilian disarmament and pursue suspects behind recent killings in a bid to restore stability to the conflict-torn county. Abraham Machwe Bith, who previously served in an acting capacity, was officially appointed on 21st of November. He was sworn into office on December 2nd and assumed his duties on the 4th of this month. His entry into office was immediately overshadowed by two separate violent incidents that claimed 7 lives. Following the clashes, Machwe said his first assignment was to visit the affected families, where he initiated dialogue and urged both sides to remain calm as authorities work to apprehend the culprits. Speaking to iRadio this morning, the commissioner outlined 5 key priorities he believes will help restore hope to the people of Tonj East who have endured decades of communal violence. These priorities include strengthening security and peace efforts, conducting forceful disarmament of armed civilians, and ensuring the arrest of perpetrators. He added that his administration will also focus on resolving local cases, facilitating compensation for lost lives, and promoting development in the county, a goal he said will come after stability is fully achieved.
I have 5 priorities. First, it is the stabilization of peace for the people of Tonj East to live in peace. As the mandate of the commissioner, it is my mandate to let my people live in peace, to protect their lives with their properties. Number 2 is the prevention of the culprits, is the second priority. Then the third priority, after a prevention of the culprits, we need for the full disarmament, because the governor has declared the state of emergency to be implemented with effect from the day we were swearing in. The governor has declared that the state of emergency must be implemented. So we are going for the disarmament exercise. So we are going to carry it out in some few days to come. I'm waiting for the forces in Tonj. After the forces arrive, and then the disarmament will be launched.
Machwe described the current security situation in Tonj East as normal. He further appealed to intellectuals from Tonj East living in Juba and abroad to join efforts in fostering lasting peace in the region. According to him, the persistent communal violence stems from weak rule of law and requires collective support to resolve. Tonj East County has in recent years continued to experience inter-communal clashes driven by revenge killings, cattle raids, widespread possession of firearms among civilians, and conflicts related to girls. Recently, the SSPDF leadership issued a 21-day ultimatum for all armed youth in the county to voluntarily surrender their weapons to local authorities. However, youth groups rejected the order, citing fears for the safety of their cattle and property as neighboring communities remain armed. They insisted that any forceful disarmament must be comprehensive rather than selective. This is iRadio News. The Minister of Information for Upper Nile State says the Commissioner of Malakal County, Michael Otto Ball, has died in Juba after a prolonged illness. According to Minister Peter Ngojo, the Commissioner had been receiving treatment for nearly 3 months due to diabetes. His condition reportedly worsened in the last 2 days before his passing on Sunday at Juba Teaching Hospital. He was 62. Ngojo described the late commissioner as a respected leader of the Makal community and Lelo Payam, who will be remembered for his character, wisdom, and dedication to public service.
This is very unfortunate for the people of Makal County, as well as the people of Upper Nile State. His body will be brought to Malakal in the coming 2 days to be buried here in hometown in Malakal. This is very unfortunate for his family and the entire people of Makal County. We as government of Upper Nile State, we want to extend our condolences to his family, friends, and colleagues. Michael Otto was really a statesman. He was very committed and was cooperative with the organs of the government of Upper Nile State. His body will be brought to Malakal, and then an official burial will be met here in Malakal. So may God rest his soul in eternal peace. Amen.
Originally from Abujang village in Lelo Payam, late Otho was regarded as a symbol of generosity, social cohesion, and calm leadership. His body is expected to be transported to Malakal within the next 2 days for an official burial. Key international and national NGOs have assured Governor Jacob Dollar-Roth on Sunday that they will immediately re-establish their full operation presence in Nasir Town. This major commitment was made during a follow-up meeting with the governor, conveyed immediately after the state's 48-hour directive. The NGO delegation, including representatives wearing jackets bearing logos of UNICEF, IRC, Save the Children, UNHCR, and Nile Hope, welcomed the governor's call to action, acknowledging the benefits of operating from the county headquarters. They expressed a willingness to explore immediate steps toward re-establishing their presence in Nasir Town, adding that such a move would significantly enhance communication, reduce response delays, and deepen engagement with the affected communities. Governor Roth reiterated his appreciation for the ongoing efforts by the NGOs to support vulnerable communities, but said that the recent directive was necessary to ensure proximity, collaboration, and direct engagement with local authorities and beneficiaries. Governor Roth affirmed, and I quote, "Nasir Town is secure, stable, and ready to host full NGO operations. We encourage all organizations to return to their offices to Nasir so that services can be better coordinated and delivered more efficiently to those in need," end quote. He reaffirmed the state's unwavering commitment to ensuring a safe and enabling environment for all humanitarian activities. Governor Roth pledged full administrative support, improved logistical access, and strengthened security cooperation to facilitate a smooth and timely return for all organizations. Before international news, the acting director of wetlands at the Ministry of Environment and Forestry has called for collective action to protect wildlife and endangered species, describing them as vital national heritage and key resource for future generations. Samuel Justin Loates said protecting wildlife is not a one-man effort, but a responsibility that requires the involvement of all stakeholders. He said that wildlife and other species should not be misused, as they have the potential to generate significant income through tourism. According to Loate, South Sudan is rich in natural resources and environmental beauty, but this must be safeguarded for the future. He made the remarks during a resident show this morning.
As long as all of us are in this environment, we're sharing the same environment. It means each and every one of us has got a stake in that environment. Each and every one of us has got a role to play to make sure that that environment or that component of the environment is protected. Solving environmental problems or protecting the environment is not a one-man show. This is our shared responsibility. So if the government, the Minister of Environment, the government sets the policies, the regulations and the guidelines, and then there should be another institution which will implement or enforce the laws that have been set. The laws that have been set to make sure that our wildlife or the biodiversity or the black crane is not misused. We will have the communities who are within the habitat of that specific species or that biodiversity. Definitely they have a stake inside there. As long as they have a stake in the protection in that particular environment, they have a role to play to make sure that that environment or that biodiversity or wildlife is protected.
This is iRadio News, and now we move to the international stage, and here is Walma Pal.
Good afternoon, Lasuba Memo, taking you through regional international stories. Let's begin in Nigeria, where about 100 children who were abducted from a Catholic school in the central region last month have been freed, authorities say. Nigeria's State Police Chief Adamu Abdullahi El-Leman and Bishop Bolas Yauna Yohanna, who is in charge of the school as the local leader of the Catholic community, both told the BBC that they had received confirmation of the students' release. They said the government's office of the National Security Advisor had informed them that the children would be reunited with their parents from Monday. More than 250 students and 12 staff were kidnapped from St. Mary's Catholic School in Papri. The latest in a wave of mass abductions which has sent shockwaves through the nation. Elsewhere, the U.S. has criticized the Venezuelan government over the death of an opposition figure in custody, calling it a reminder of the vile nature of President Nicolas Maduro's regime. Alfred Diaz died in his prison cell at the El Helicoide prison in Caracas, where he was being held for more than a year, human rights organizations and opposition groups have said. The Venezuelan government said the 56-year-old showed signs of a heart attack and was taken to hospital, where he died on Saturday. And finally, U.S. President Donald Trump has flagged potential concerns over Netflix's planned $72 billion, €54 billion deal to buy Warner Brothers Discovery's movie studio and popular HBO streaming networks. At an event in Washington, D.C. on Sunday, he said Netflix has a big market share and the firm's combined size could be a problem. On Friday, the two companies said they had reached an agreement to bring Warner Brothers franchises like Harry Potter and Game of Thrones to Netflix, creating a new media giant. That's all from the Regional International Stories. I am Walma Pal. Back to you, Lasuba Memo.
Thanks, Walma Paul. This is iRadio News, and now to the world of sports. Here is Jonah Cott.
In sport news, Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah is betraying his legacy, says former Manchester United striker Wayne Rooney. Salah says on Saturday he felt like he had been thrown under the bus by Liverpool and that his relationship with the head coach Arne Slot had broken down. Rooney believes that the Slot must now show his authority and not involve Egypt international Salah in Tuesday Champions League game at Inter Milan and next Saturday home match with Brighton. Arne Slot has to show his authority and pull him in and says, "We are not traveling with the team and what you say is not acceptable," says Rooney in his latest podcast episode. Rooney says Salah needed to either iron out his differences with Slot or leave Liverpool. Real Madrid to go into Wednesday Champions League clash against Manchester City, reeling from a surprise home setback at the weekend and elite injury list, but coach Xabi Alonso says they need to bounce back quickly. Real lost their 100% home record in the Spanish La Liga on Sunday in a shock 2-0 defeat to Celta Vigo and fell to 4 points behind leaders Barcelona, but have a little time to reflect on the setback before their Champions League assignment. With the Real winning only one of their last 5 La Liga fixtures, Alonso has come under scrutiny for his relationship with the players' system of play and technical decision, while injuries have suddenly built up again. A South Korean court has sentenced a woman who blackmailed football star Son Heung-min to 4 years in prison. The woman in her 20s and her accomplice, a man in his 40s, were found guilty blackmailing the former Tottenham captain by saying she was pregnant with his son. The woman had approached Son sometime last year, claiming she was carrying his child when in fact she did not know whether that was a case or so. This district court had, according to the local media. Jonah Cott, iRadio.
Thank you, Jonah Cott. This is iRadio News, and to end this bulletin, here's a recap of the headlines. The newly appointed Minister of Information, Communication, Technology and Postal Services, Atenyo Kateny, has outlined his priorities during his official reception held on Saturday, placing strong emphasis on youth, innovation and media freedom. And the newly appointed Commissioner of Tonj East County in Warab State has threatened to launch a forceful civilian disarmament and pursue suspects behind recent killings in a bid to restore stability to the conflict-torn county. And the Minister of Information for Upper Nile State says the Commissioner of Makal County, Michael Othobol, has died in Juba after a prolonged illness. That's the end of iRadio Afternoon News. If there's a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message at +211 925 287 870. It's also a WhatsApp number. For us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for news and Arabic at 1:30 hour. I am Lasuba Memo. Thank you for listening.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio.
أسعار بتاعت السوق دي ما فيه أي تغيير ولا فيه أي نزول، لكن إنما بالعكس برفع وبزيد. في زمن إنه تجار كان لما بيتكلموا عن دولار هسه بيقى بكام دولار زي دولار زي